I bet when you're thinking about consistency in your business, you are only about half of what it takes to be consistent. I've been giving this a lot of thought. I've seen the videos, I've thought about it in my own business. I've even given advice to be more consistent. And there is so much that goes along with that I just really want to address it here. So, Monique, Silver Paw Studio and founder of ProPetPhotog, and I've been a professional pet and people photographer, videographer for the past 9 years here in Colorado. And one of the main pieces of advice people give is to be consistent. Now, this is often tied with your content creation. Be consistent on YouTube. Be consistent on your newsletters and in your Instagram, your blogging. And it's all about the things that we do. And there's all kinds of tools to help us with that. There is apps that will help post things for us. There's AI that'll help write things for us. There are spreadsheets and marketing calendars and brainstorming notebooks. And there's just so many things that can help us with being consistent. Now, I agree. I think that consistency does matter in the things that we do. I like to have my YouTube video out every week, Friday morning. At the same time, my newsletters go out. I publish 2 newsletters a week. And I believe that really helps grow those platforms and reach the people I want to reach. And that's where consistency in what I'm doing works for me. Where it does not work for me is putting together a marketing calendar for Instagram or Pinterest or a blog. That's where it kind of falls apart for me. I'm able to do things on a weekly basis for some things, but not other things. And then what happens? You feel guilty and you start comparing yourself and you start thinking, if I'd only done 5 Instagram reels this week instead of 1, what would have happened? And then you start getting overwhelmed and then you start getting burnt out and you're like, but I know I need to be consistent, showing up. You know, I've seen the speech by Simon Sinek about being consistent. If you go to the gym one day and you come home and look in the mirror, you're not going to see results. You go to gym the second day and you look in the mirror, you're not going to see the results. They're cumulative. Eventually, one day you'll be like, oh, there's the results. And it's like that with a lot of things that we do. And I think you can agree with me on that. That if we write more posts to our audience, they're going to hear more from us and we're going to gain more traction and grow more business, right? Here's where I think there is a missing piece. And I was thinking about this today how it pertains to something I'm already doing half consistently, and that's the ProPetPhotog podcast. My goal with that podcast is to put out 4 10-episode seasons a year and take breaks in between. And this year I am 2/3 through with season 2 and it's October. And I should, according to my goals, if I was following those goals and being consistent, I would be done with season 3 by now. Okay, what happened? That's kind of one of those places that it fell apart a little bit because other things were taking priority. But in that podcast, I have 3 segments. The first one is about beans, little things that we can do to move us towards our life and our goals. Then we have the YouTube behind the scenes. And then the last segment is the be segment because we are human beings, not just human doings. And that's where I think we're missing the second half of consistency. Every video I looked up had some person sitting there saying, well, you gotta be consistent. Your client's gotta know that you're gonna show up every single week for this. That's the only way you're gonna grow, consistency. And that all comes in with determination and motivation and stick-to-itiveness. What's that called? Anyway, like you have to have all these other things and like, rah, you can do it. You can be consistent. It's the only way. And this is what I want to tell you. Being consistent in what you're doing is one thing, okay? But what about being consistent in who you're being? To me, that feels a lot better, gives me more grace, and accomplishes the same thing. Let me give you an example of how this could work. The goal, let's say, for sending out a newsletter to my photography clients every single week, my goal is to keep myself top of mind, to keep connected with the people who said they want to be on my newsletter, to form friendships and relationships. I don't just talk about specials in my studio. I talk about myself, my struggles, my ups, my downs, be relatable, and of course, sell my services when I have specials to offer, or even my ongoing. Every newsletter has what I always offer at the bottom. So those are some things that I want to accomplish with this weekly newsletter. Now, I do have it on my calendar that every Wednesday-ish, Wednesday, Thursday, I write that email. Mostly because I want it to go out right before the weekend. I want them to be thinking about me over the weekend with their family and friends and pets. And that's when the YouTube video posts. If you're on the email for ProPetPhotog, you get that the second the video posts. But what is behind that? Well, how can I say, instead of like, it's on the schedule for Wednesday, I just have to do it. What if I just said, and I have to thank my coach, Robin McIntyre. I'll put a link to her business in the comments too, in the description. Is what kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be the kind of person who is reliable, who lives in integrity, that says, I'm going to post every Friday, therefore to be a person of integrity, I post every Friday. I want to be a person that's trustworthy, that I'm going to share some vulnerable things in here, and then my clients can relate to that. I want to be someone who runs a successful business, and that means I'm going to tell people about my business in this newsletter. And when I frame it like that, I want to be the person that... Isn't that so much better? That is a whole different type of goal. Instead of, I just want to send out this newsletter, and if I use this program and write this thing with this AI, that's what's going to have to take. I'm just going to have to buckle down and make myself do it. That's all the doing things. Of course, we are doing those things, and those tools are good. But to really get our shoes on and get out there and get ourselves into it, isn't it nice to say, that's your goal? You know, one thing I've seen people on YouTube suggest is that instead of just making a video about a topic, you make a video about the comment section. What is it you want people to feel and think and say after your YouTube video? So for instance, after this video, wouldn't it be great if people typed in the comments, I'm really going to try that. This sounds much more kind to myself and more compassionate and still reaches the same goals. I am totally going to try to be consistent in who I am, not just what I do. So if I was writing this script out instead of just sitting here talking with you, just me and you and the camera, that's maybe something I would have written out. You know, it's not just a goal. It's what you want the people that are participating in this to take away from it and to experience and to feel. You get what I'm saying here? I'll see if I can come up with some more examples. TikTok is really, really good at this. And this translates over to Instagram Reels and to an extent YouTube Shorts. TikTok often talks about very personal things. And as Franklin Taggart says, the most personal is the most universal. And so when you're connecting with people on TikTok, you don't have to have a big production studio and just all kinds of lights and flashy things. You have to just talk from your heart, and people will connect with you. And the algorithm will show them more people like you. So people like you. What person are you? Who do you want to be? One of the things that I am striving for now is to be more calm and confident. So when I look in my mirror and I say, who do I want to be today? I have so much to do. I know I have so much to do, but in the doing of that, I would like to be calm and confident. I can take on that. Yeah. Slow down a bit. You've probably noticed it in this video. I'm very enthusiastic about everything I talk about out in the world. But I thought, I'm going to try slowing this down. And let me know what you think about me slowing down. So in working on being calm and confident, this really worked out better for me the other day at a photo session. It was not a high intensity photo session. It was very laid back. It was one person outside with her 3 dogs on her own property. We weren't even trying to wrestle all the dogs into every image. She was usually just holding one or around one of them. And the slower I became, the easier it was. And so that's something I'm working on for myself is, okay, I want to be more deliberate and calm, then instead of just, oh, I got to run over here and get this and run over here to get that, really thinking about my time schedule and their time schedule, I need to set my camera down somewhere. I'm going to carefully and slowly set it down right here. The pictures in that camera are very important to me. You're very important to me. I'm going to treat it carefully. And when I'm calm and confident, you can be calm and confident. Awesome, right? So that's what I want to kind of talk about with consistency. How are you showing up? Part of consistency is really just showing up at all. And this can be really hard for a lot of us, that maybe we're having a really hard day, or we're going through something, or maybe we're traveling, or we have young kids. There's always so much going on for all of us that we can't be scheduled consistency sometimes. We can't be like, okay, but no matter what's going on, every single Wednesday I'm writing that newsletter at 9 a.m. Instead of putting that on yourself, be consistent in the message that you send in those newsletters. So when you start thinking like that, you will automatically have stuff to say to people. So I have no trouble writing my email, and I've written a weekly email for probably 7 or 8 years now. I love it. It's something I like writing, so there's that. But I start thinking about what I'm going to write in it days ahead of time. And I think, oh, how do I want to connect with my clients? I would love for my people on my newsletter to know this. And when I sit down to write it, it's not even a chore. This is how I want to show up in this newsletter. This is who I want to be in this newsletter. Today, I want to be someone who's uplifting. Today, I want to be someone who's teaching, a teacher. Today, I want to be someone who is empathetic. When I think about it like that, then the words come and the consistency follows. So when you're consistent with who you are and what you do, that translates into the actions that you take. And that's another reason why it's so important to know your why in business. Know why you're doing these things. Have good reasons for each thing that you carry, each price that you have, each part of your process, and your overall why. In my studio, I have a sign, and my shirts all say, I want to tell all of your tales with tails, because I think you have stories about your pets, and that's what I want to do. I want to know those stories. I want to tell those stories. I want to be part of those stories about your pets. And that's what I want to do. And so everything I do that touches there somewhere. I know my 5 core values: caring, creativity, service, dedication, and encouragement. That is infused. That is who I am. And that's how I can be consistent in what I do. I think that's all I have to say about that for now. I'd love to have a conversation in the comments. Let me know what you like about this consistency topic, and if it helps you not have so much guilt around it and not so much pressure on yourself. If you realize your consistency is tied to your consistency in being, and that when you can consistent in the way you are and who you are and what you stand for, that will automatically make you consistent in your actions and the things that you do. We're human beings and we do things. Yeah? All right. Well, this has been an interesting conversation to have with you. I'm so glad you stuck around for all of it. And Wiggles and I would like to say I wish you many woofs, purrs, and TREATSs. And in the meantime, check out this video if you like this kind of topic. I'm sure you will like it as well. Talk to you soon.